Well, good morning. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm Missy Vanderpool with Henderson Economic Development, and we want to say thank you to Hopkins County Innovate and Caffeinate, Murray Callaway County Innovate and Caffeinate, Christian County Innovate and Caffeinate for having us today. We're very excited to bring our friends from the Farmer and Frenchman here today. We have Dr. Katy Groves-Mussat and Hubert Mussat with us. They are the owners and operators of Farmer and Frenchman. And Farmer and Frenchman is a family-owned business here in Henderson, and it opened in June of 2016. And I won't go into a whole lot of details because I know they're going to share their story, but just that Henderson, Kentucky is so proud to be the home to Farmer and Frenchman, and very excited to have them here with us today to share their story. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
All right. Well, Kitty is not an integral part of Farmer and Frenchman, but we just learned to get along without her. If I try to get her out of the picture, she's just going to keep coming back for more. So
she's fine.
Pets are really enjoying a new zest for life with all of this quarantine stuff.
Yes.
So. Well, I'll start with a little bit about our background, and then I hope that we can also focus on some things that we had to innovate and adapt to as a dining business in the middle of social distancing. So that's kind of an interesting story in and of itself. But so the idea was born in probably 2013, right?
The idea came in 2012, July 2012. That was just an idea because our farmer, Tommy Jenkins, asked me if I wanted to grow vine, and Katy got the land, and I was not coming to Kentucky to grow vine, and I didn't even know that she had the land, or the family got the land. So we start here. And when I came in October, so I built like an idea in my mind, because I think that for French who like wine and who are working in wine business and hospitality, have a vineyard was kind of like a dream. Because financially, I mean, it's something that costs so much in all the places that I knew where vine could grow. And we came in October, and so I was imagining the way the land would be, and in fact the land was exactly the way, almost perfect, because nothing is perfect in life. Almost like the way I see it, the way I was imagining it, far away from the road, on the top of the hill, going down like this. We could like plant a lot of vine. So we start there. In 2013, we went to Lexington to a convention that we met like grower, and we start to know what's going on in Kentucky with vine, and what the challenge is, and what the market, what they were selling, what kind of wine growing, what kind of wine was selling. So we start from there to elaborate like a business plan.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the most important things in your startup is your business plan. I mean, it seems really simple, but it really, like, it puts you in that moment of living through your business day to day to really see what's happening, not just the financials, not just how you're going to market it, but it kind of starts to form in your mind an outline of what every single day is going to look like for you. So I would say the business plan, it can be, and it has to be adjusted as you go on every year, but you have to start with that really clearly defined business plan from the beginning. And for me, it was kind of like creating a syllabus, because I was in education before we started doing this. I was finishing up my PhD whenever we met, and so that made sense to me. Like, okay, I can map out what a semester is going to look like. So whenever I create this business plan, it's not just a semester; it's like several, 5 years. So it's like mapping out your courses for getting a degree. So, but you do have to be prepared to change in the face of your changing market, or in this case, we had to figure out how to innovate and adapt to social distancing for dining. I mean, the whole purpose of a restaurant is to congregate and be close. So how do you change that up to make it safe for people so that they can still enjoy going out, but in a safe atmosphere? So that was an interesting new challenge, but I think both of us kind of thrive on challenges and problem solving. I think we both like to problem solve. We problem solve very differently though. So we each have to pick which problem we're going to take, because if we both try to solve the same problem, then we get, you know, too many type A personalities going. So what kind of, what would be a question that people ask us a lot, do you think, about our journey?
Yeah, I think that always when the people come and say, oh, you have a great place, it's beautiful and everything, first you have to know what you want to do. If you really want to do what we're doing, our life is not as maybe a dream life for some people. Hospitality is pretty tough. You have to deal with people non-stop. Is each plate coming out from the restaurant, because our idea was supposed to be 100% vineyard, and by studying the market, I mean, my first idea, as Katy said, even at the beginning, we have to switch to hospitality, things I didn't want to do at the beginning. I really want to be focused on the wine, and Hubert is like more like a wine bar. And we really realized that people in Henderson needed like food, different food, and not only wine. So we every day is like each place coming out of the restaurant is a challenge. It's like a new business start all over again. And that's why actually that make me wake up in the morning, because I know there's going to be a challenge day. If it was too easy, I would be bored. I would be bored. So just to say that I always did that. I mean, I do that since I'm a little boy. My father was in the business since I was 8 years old, and to say that you always, I'm a civil engineer. I tried to escape from it, but I came back to it because it's something I got in my blood. So number one is, you really want to do something, be sure about it.
Another thing that's important that we hear a lot about is diversifying your business and diversifying your product. And you want to make sure that it is that it's diverse, so you have a larger population of potential customers. But you don't want to make it so spread thin that it's an inch thick and a mile wide. You know, you have to kind of balance that brand identity and then also giving a wide, having a broad customer base. So the way that we did that is that, I don't know that we're that successful with that, but one of the ways that we did it is that we offer lots of different types of wine. So not just Kentucky wine, not just our wine, but wine from around the world as well. And then a lot of different flavors of wine. So not just sweet, not just dry, but all across the board. And then also variety in wines is important whenever you're eating anyway, because you have a lot of different flavors of food. So you want to be able to pair with different things.
Everything, yeah.
And then also our space allows us to be pretty diverse in the type of dining setting that people want. So they can dine inside their cabin. So we have the guest cabins that people can spend the night in. And if they want to eat there, they can eat inside the cabin. They can eat outside. They can eat inside the dining room. They can also get carry out. And then now that we're coming on the winter, it's harder for us to have outdoor seating, but we do have heaters and curtains up and things like that so that people can sit outside for as long as possible.
Yeah, with a lot of airflow like this, you know, it's, but I try to adapt to the situation. Really very lucky to have space and to be able to spread. The fact that we don't have too many big events, we can use event center, which is an old barn, the 1940 barn. That's why also I like about the place. It was here, 1940, piece of history. So we can use that because it's very high. It's always, of course, it's still a whole barn, even if we did a bunch of restoration. So it's about a lot of airflow, even if it's still warm with the heaters. And that helped us a lot to keep attracting, I guess, people who still want to go out in these hard moments and situation.
Yeah, yeah. So I think another question people ask us a lot is how I could never work with my husband or wife. How do you do it? And not just with a husband and wife, but of course, most people who start a business, it's not just one person. They have a partner, they have a group of people. It's not just like one king over it all. You know, there's usually a team that you work with. And whenever you have a team, it's good to have a team of leaders, in our case, like a pair, but maybe more than one. But you do have to have your different things that you're in charge of. And that's kind of what I touched on. You know, you have to separate out your areas so that the other person knows what's going on, but that's your decision-making area. And this is my decision-making area. And that really helps. So, and that also goes back to your business plan. You need to figure out who's going to be in charge of what. And that can be adapted and changed later, but just start whenever you open the business and you hit the gates, you want to make sure that each person is in charge of specific things so that you don't have too many cooks in the kitchen.
But it was hard at the beginning. You got the plan, but the plan was not really working well. And at the beginning, it was hard to find our own place, where to do, what to do. So it was a bit tense. It's tense because you have the stress of opening, and you try to get organized. It took us a while before to be organized, to have a team who understand what we want to do. Maybe also we didn't have time to train them the way they want to do because we were involved totally. We have a position also, the hand in the mud also working. We couldn't do it. So the little by little, when I could get out of the kitchen after 6 months, I was lucky enough to be able to get out of the kitchen, not 100%, but more than before. We could little by little finally take our position. And when we start to have a wedding requirement, people asking for a wedding and other, and I couldn't be taking care of that. So naturally, you know, anyway, that was the plan. But finally, like Katy had yes, it was necessary for us to have 2 different jobs in the same business. And that stopped our tension. Beginning
so
tension.
now we really like each other now.
It's much easier.
Also, we went from, in 2016, how many people do we have working with us in 2016? That, like, the day we opened?
We got 7, maybe, include me.
And now, how many do we have?
Around 30.
So, I mean, it's really grown a lot, but we also grew from just having the winery and the restaurant to the cabins to the events and all that stuff too. But since we both come from a pretty long educational background, he got his master's and I had my master's and PhD, education was really important to us. So with our team, we want to make sure that they are always being enriched on the job, challenged on the job, but also, you know, furthering their education. So that's one of the fun things that we do with having the chefs come. We'll have guest chefs that come, and they're coming from all different parts of the world. They'll do a special event here, but then our team gets to learn things from them. So we get to, you know, it's like they, instead of sending them away to get some training, then we bring the chefs here to do training. And right now they really enjoy doing that because they want to get out of the big cities right now. So, and so that's important to us. You know, I think sometimes people might say, well, you're training them so well, they're going to go off and do something else. I'm like, well, maybe they will, but it's important to us to keep that enrichment going and new ideas coming and just helping people grow and develop along with us. So what about any questions? Are there any questions coming in? Uh-oh, you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Oops, sorry. What is your favorite aspect of Farmer and Frenchman?
Well, you can go first if you want, or I can. I would say, well, I know my answer. I would say for me, it's definitely that dichotomy of luxury and the countryside. So I don't know if people who are familiar with our wines, there is one wine called Dressed Up Farm Girl. And so that for me is like the perfect mixture of, you know, you can have luxury and you can have haute cuisine in the countryside. So that kind of reflects like my typical day. And that's what I love about being here, is that in the morning I can take the dog out for a walk in the country, and it's like right here on the land, and I can walk around and mess around in the garden, get totally filthy, digging holes and stuff. And then later on in the day, I can get dressed up and go down and mingle with our customers and have a really great meal. So I think that's what I like the best about it, is just that it's the best of both worlds. We've got the best of the dining world that we've experienced, you know, going around and visiting different places. And then I get to be a country girl too at the same time. I don't know, what's your favorite thing about it?
No, I mean, the space. I mean, for me, coming from cities and live in the first 45 years of my life in the cities is the first time that I'm living with so much space around me. So many people many customers ask me, how do you like Kentucky? I say, Kentucky, I couldn't visit rarely, besides went to Louisville, to Lexington, which was very nice. But my word, Kentucky is Farmer and Frenchman. I stay around, there's always something to be done. It's like the people, you know, who live on the house and say, oh, I have to do this in my house, I have to fix this, I have to fix that. Me, the same thing, but it's for business, because at the end, the purpose is to live with it. So lucky enough to have space, to have a big house, and to have a lot of guests coming over to see us, and they pay for it. So it's wonderful.
And some people might not know that we live here. So we actually, whenever we say we live at our business, they may just think, oh, they're just saying that because they're small business owners, but we really actually do live on location. So that is a really great part of it, that we can, you know, it's a really interesting life for kids to grow up in. Our kids are 3 and 6, and they just think that it's totally normal that, you know, 200 people come over on Saturdays. and they see, you know, so they know, I guess they know that they're not really guests into our home, they're guests for the winery, but it's interesting to see how they recognize people, and they just kind of know what's going on. So yeah.
The next question we have is, a comment was, we love the cabins and how everything has grown. So what's next for Farmer and Frenchman?
What next in the economy, I guess. What the need. I mean, definitely when I came here, I saw that it was not too much going on, going out at night, or in of course wine scenery, of course in food scenery. I mean, for me, coming from the outside, I remember when I enjoy when CKB was open, I said, that's great, that's interesting. Went a bit from Evansville and everything. After one moment, I said, okay, where did I go? So we did that. I felt that it was the opportunity to do that, because it was a void. Now we need to see, we know that more and more people book our cabin, so it will be natural to be more cabin, but it's another organization, because when you have 3 cabins, you can deal with your staff, what you have. More cabins, that means that you have to have like a housekeeping organization and management and others is really, for now, for example, we do the laundry in our place. All the laundry for the cabin is the same laundry machine that for our personal laundry machine, and Katy do most of it. When the 3 cabins are busy, plus us, is like 10 laundry a day. So, you know, you have to think about all that. Naturally, it will be to add more cabin, will be natural. The next move, what I decide to do is to create like a chef table. It's going to be more a private room of 13, 14 people.
And that's going in right now, so we're working.
That we're working on. Yeah, it takes times. Because I wanted to have a little bit high-end evolution for some people, since my team like able to cook much more than they used to, and they're able to come with very, very nice dish. So I said to myself that would be a way to keep motivate them and offer to some people like maybe a different experience. Also, you know, maybe buy a wine that a little bit rare wine. Maybe I do that for me actually. A wine a little bit more hard to get, and to have a very like for one night to say let's try some things that people talk about, you know, on Wine Spectator. This one like cost, but doesn't matter. Let's try it. You know, so I would like to have that, but also it's going to be a private room if somebody want to use it. You know, that's it. It's going to be a minimum spending. That's it. We're not sure about it really. So that really is the immediate. So we're gonna have to open in the wall in the dining room, close to the bar where we do the wine tasting. Right now we don't do it, but close to the tasting area. We're gonna open like a double door to go to this space where it's gonna be a wall with full of the wine cellar, and a long 14-foot table where you're gonna be able to sit down, and the chef gonna be able to, or the guest chef or one of our assistant chef gonna be able to take care of you personally. Of course, you're going to have to reserve in advance for that. So that's
the idea kind of came because once every few months we'll have a special wine dinner where we have a guest chef, or we have like a 5-course meal and wine pairings for each one, and we have it's usually 50 to 70 people that'll come to that, and the regulars are saying, well, why don't you do that stuff for, you know, like just in the restaurant. Family, like we'd like to just get a table and do like a mini wine dinner. And so if we do the private room, then for one, now that we have issues with COVID and everything, it'll be a space that people can go in with just their immediate family or just their household and feel comfortable in there. But also it's just a way for the team to keep doing all those dishes that they love trying out, like foie gras and things like that. So anyway, I thought I saw another question pop up.
Yeah, how important is the community to your business?
Oh my gosh, that's the backbone. We wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for them. I mean, absolutely. I don't think that you could have our place in a different community, because I think Henderson and the Tri-State are so supportive of small businesses and startups. I mean, for one, the big hurdle that we had, that just wouldn't happen. We wouldn't have been supported like that anywhere else. And it's just because Henderson really knows how to get behind a cause.
I mean, many people thank me, and I feel very, many times I say that they thank me, thank you to be here. And I say, well, thank you for coming. And if you don't come, I'm not here. I mean, it's an exchange. If the community don't appreciate and don't come to support you, number one, with our problem at the beginning, but also to come to eat. Because in my place, you can have a pizza $10, and you can have a special, a big ribeye on the bone for 120 if you want to, you know. So I tried, you know, to have the community to be able to come over. Don't spend too much, or let's get something special and enjoy the night, because it's a night out.
I mean, it's in a bigger city, you don't get that wonderful experience of being able to use vendors that are like a small local business just like you. So, I mean, in all of our construction and development and things, you know, we use small Henderson businesses and things to do that. And then being able to get produce from Kate's farm, being able to get American Wagyu from, you know, just less than 50 miles away. Being able to get our lettuce greens from a hydroponic grower that's close by. Like, all of that is really great.
Oh, it's great.
It's all about relationships and in the community, for sure.
I'm really willing to pay a little bit more to be able to create this the first networking, because, you know, when business locally work together, they talk about each other, and that create a very like an energy, and bring like people around, especially in social media, you know, and when one of our suppliers say, "Oh, I sell the product to Farmer and Frenchman," and when Farmer and Frenchman say, "Thank you, Kate Farm or others, for your products," and after that, that is a mutual advertising, and that creates really a great help for each other. We are a small business. I mean, I'm tiny weeny. We grow, but we're very small. I mean, with less than a small, actually. So community is, they would not be anything without the community. We would not be here. I mean, not after like 5 years, almost 5 years now.
It's hard to believe it's been 5 years or close to 5 years. It's great. We have one last question that has come in, and that is, we'll ask each of you separately, what is your favorite Farmer and Frenchman wine?
Me, see, I mean, it's easy. I have a wine called Special Reserve. We call it Special Reserve because it's something would take me with the help of my Kentucky winemaker, because I'm the one who does all the blending and everything. But I have somebody who will be sure that my wine will turn the way I want it, because I don't have time for that. Unfortunately, I'm more in the food than in the wine. So it took me like much longer, like a couple of years, to be able to produce this wine. So I need to think 2 years in advance how many I want to be, how many grape I want to buy, and it's a blend. And I always try to do something that your education, what you know. So it's one more like Bordeaux, French wine, Bordeaux style. And we're lucky enough, so we are a few wineries that we can get very nice single vineyard from Lake County, California. We can buy together, and that gives me the opportunity to be able to do this blend. So Cabernet, Merlot, and depends of the year, depend what we got. So we change all the time, and that's my favorite, of course, because I did it what I like. The way I did it the way I like it.
Yeah.
I think my favorite Farmer and Frenchman wine would have to be the Riesling, because that is your universal pairing wine. So you can pair it with cheese, you can pair it with salad. Riesling's one of the only things you can pair with spicy food. So, so I guess that's my favorite, is Riesling. And then my favorite non-Farmer and Frenchman wine would be our, what is it? Our Taittinger champagne, of course.
Yeah, you.
I think I may have shared a glass of that with you before, Katie.
Champagne, I always say, don't call it champagne, which is not a champagne. If it's not a champagne, it's a sparkling wine.
But that one's really a champagne.
Champagne comes from Champagne area in France, and the only way you call that a champagne. The way it's done is a type of grape make it special. Yeah, she likes that. No, me, I like a lot of wine. I like a lot of wine. It depends on my mood, and depend also what I'm going to eat, because again, wine pair perfectly with food, especially for the people who don't like very dry wine. Always try eat with your wine. Don't try it with nothing like that, and that changes everything. The experience is wonderful.
Well, thank you guys both for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And again, thank you for being in Henderson and all you do for our community and support it. And we're happy to support you guys as well. So thanks again for being here. And thanks again to Hopkins County Innovate and Caffeinate, Murray-Callaway County Innovate and Caffeinate, and Christian County Innovate and Caffeinate for having us today. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.